What's up everybody, you're watching Tech Dingus, and in this video I'm going to not only unbox, but also give my first impressions on the iPhone 4 x 3 mini. Put it in there backwards. Did they usually put it in there backwards? I don't remember. Surprisingly enough, there's a lot of fingerprints on it. I think they would have cleaned it first before they put it in the box. Doesn't look like there's any scratching or anything. So I'm boring, and I got the black one because I'm boring, but I like the color of the black on the sides. It's almost like, I don't know, almost like dark blue, purple kind of color. It's not like jet black. It definitely has a hue to it, especially when you look at the back. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell on camera, I'm sure, but it's not like super black. It's just, I don't know, it's got like a blue hue to it. It's kind of cool. I don't know. I like it. Pretty sweet. And of course, as you probably already know, in the box you don't get a charging brick anymore, you just get the Lightning to USB-C cable, which you already know I have many thoughts about. Rumor has it Apple's going to a fully wireless future where there won't be any ports whatsoever, so why put USB-C on their phones if maybe the iPhone 13 is not even going to have a port at all? I think that's kind of weird personally, especially because wireless charging isn't super fast yet. I mean, it's fast enough, but it's not going to be as fast as, like, you know, a high wattage fast charger that you actually plug in. In this little thing, you get a nice little Apple sticker. You get a white Apple sticker. Weird, you'd think on the black phone you'd get the dark sticker. And it's a small sticker, it's a mini Apple sticker, look at that. So you can put this on something of your choosing, and it will display to everybody your feelings towards Apple. And then you have your SIM card port poker tool, the tool with which you poke your SIM card hole. Yes, that's what I said. And that's it, nothing else. You get nothing else in the box. What a bummer. Yeah, hope that you have a wireless charging pad or a, you know, USB-C power brick, because if you don't, well, you're not gonna be charging your phone very much until you get one. Let's get the eco-friendly box out of the way. And oh, you know what? I got the case for it too. Now, I think personally this is a little bit overpriced for what it is. 60 bucks for the leather case. But, you know, it was there. I figured I need a case for it. Might as well try it out. So let's check that out too. These boxes are cool because, like, they're not like taped together or anything. You pull this out and it slides out, but you have to pull it like really hard and it clicks. Here, I'll put it back in. Hear that? It's got like a weird pressure click in there. But yeah, you unclick it and pull it out, and there's the case. This case is made with high-quality, supple leather to protect your iPhone. Leather is a natural material, and like a fine leather belt, it may show creases, marks, or a patina over time. I'm looking forward to that patina. I do love a good patina. Who doesn't? And then, yeah, this has a little diagram there showing you, in case it isn't simple enough putting the case on the phone, that's how you do it. You put it on like that. In case you needed to know. And so there's our ring, our little MagSafe ring, and the inside is a nice, well, it's leather, so it's got the kind of soft, unfinished leather feel, and then the outside has a very nice and soft leather feel to it. And there's a little bit of plastic reinforcement around the camera bezel, and then the button itself is a piece of plastic. All the buttons are a piece of plastic. And then you have your cutout for the silence button. Silence! Let's as the diagram says, we'll go from left to right. Stick the phone in there. Boop. It doesn't feel very magnetic. It doesn't feel like it's snapping in magnetically. It feels like it's just like a case being put on a phone. But it does feel really nice. So, okay, so let's talk about the phone itself. I owned an original iPhone 4, and I really liked that form factor because back then, there really wasn't anything else on the market that came close to what that was. It was a really sleek, really industrial looking, just a really cool looking piece of technology. And the fact that they went back to that design and give you the flat front, it's kind of cool. But now you get the added benefits of having power in your phone versus the iPhone 4, which was not very powerful. It was powerful at the time, but certainly not by today's means. So this is kind of a cool design that they've gone back to. And not only that, but if you're gonna put a screen protector on it, which I would highly recommend because as the reports have shown so far, this new ceramic glass they're using is very scratchable. The glass is apparently very damage resistant, so if you drop it, you're not gonna have as much of a chance of getting a shattered screen, but there's a trade-off. You can't really have a high-performance unbreakable glass that's also really rigid and isn't gonna scratch. So the trade-off is you might see surface scratches. So mitigate that by putting a screen protector on it. And the nice thing about this new design is it's flat, so you don't have the curve for the screen protector to follow. It is very small. This is great. Coming from a Note 20 Ultra, this is like the polar opposite of the phone that I'm daily driving right now. I think I'm gonna enjoy this because having, you know, the specs that you have in this phone in such a small piece of technology, it's kind of cool. You know, small phones are coming back, and this is the fastest small phone that you can buy right now, which is pretty neat. But yeah, it does feel exceptionally small compared to other phones. And I don't have very big hands myself, so I do kind of have a hard time reaching the entire screen on a bigger phone. And this allows me to hold it with one hand and pretty much get anywhere. It's a really good weight too. So actually, I'm gonna pop this case back off and talk about the body of the phone itself. So the Pro version of the phone has stainless steel sides. This one, which is the non-Pro version, has aluminum. Personally, I kind of like the matte look of the aluminum, and it also reduces a little bit of weight. So if you're gonna have a small phone, obviously you don't want it to be super heavy. So I would imagine if there was a Pro version of this phone, it would be significantly, well, not significantly, but it would feel heavier having stainless steel sides to it versus the aluminum sides that you get. So it's definitely, it feels like a quality device. It doesn't feel like, you know, even though it is a smaller phone, it doesn't feel like it's gonna break easily. It feels hefty in the hand. And, you know, the not rounded sides actually feels really good. It's really easy to get a grip on this phone. You know, the camera is kind of comically large on the back there. It is what it is. But I mean, I'm just happy to get such a good camera in such a small phone. Once again, you know, the specs for the size, you can't argue with that. So let's turn on, see how much battery it ships with. Probably, I would assume it's pretty well charged up. Takes a minute to boot up. Hello. Looks like we got about 75, 80%. That's not bad. So this phone, obviously, because it is smaller, you get all the guts of the iPhone 12, but in a smaller package. So to make that happen, they did have to reduce the size of the battery. So you're only getting like a 2200 milliamp hour battery on this phone, which, I mean, that's not a lot. So yeah, we're doing the hello thing. Choose English, United States. Let's set up manually. Just typing in my Wi-Fi password. There's definitely a big difference with the keyboard typing on this. Even though I do have smaller hands myself, I could see how some people might have a problem typing on this phone. It's a little bit cumbersome because the keyboard's just really small. Now, I haven't really used an iPhone at all since I did the iPhone SE 2020 review earlier in the year. So I'm coming from that phone to this phone, so I didn't really have any experience with the iPhone 11. The screen on the SE, while it was a pretty good screen for the price, it wasn't an OLED. The resolution wasn't as good, and I can already tell just looking at this, the screen is just so much higher quality on this phone. All right, let's set up Face ID. Okay. First scan complete. All right, second Face ID scan complete, and Face ID is now set up. That's probably not going to be used very often. We'll see. We'll put in a passcode because that makes things a lot easier. I'm a passcode kind of guy. I like a passcode. the Face ID is cool, the fingerprint scanner is cool, but like I find that it takes longer in most cases. Some people would say that's not as secure. Some people would say it's more secure. There's schools of thought on that. I'm a fan of the 4-digit code. I can plug that in super quick. Even with the small screen, it is nice typing on an iPhone. I'm not gonna lie. It's just, Apple did a great job and always has been doing a great job on their touchscreen feel. And coming from, Android phones, Samsung phones, you can definitely feel the difference. So one thing that is a little bit annoying is the screen. There's kind of an edge where the screen doesn't go all the way to the edge. And that's one thing I really like about the Android phones is, especially with those curved screens, you get the full screen. On this phone, not only the giant notch on the top, you have to factor in, but then you get this like weird little bezel. I wish there was more screen. It's a small phone, so I can't complain too much because that's the whole point is like, small phone. But even on the Pro Max, you look at that thing, it's still got that screen bezel, which is kind of a bummer. Let's not have True Tone display. It doesn't let you change it. Ooh, dark mode. It immediately lets you go to dark mode. I'm gonna go to dark mode because this is no LED screen, meaning when the pixels are turned off, it uses less energy. So it's kind of a no-brainer if you're gonna be using light mode and if you're gonna be looking at the screen a lot, powering all those white pixels when you're looking at stuff that's bright and white, it's gonna sap your battery. There are other YouTubers that have done tests on this, and you can get a good hour or two extra out of the phone under heavy use with the dark mode turned on because of the OLED, so it's kind of cool. All right, so let's go into the setting. Let's turn the brightness up. One thing I've noticed is dark mode definitely makes you feel like you have more screen because that black, bezel or whatever it is, anti-screen, and the notch at the top, that kind of blends in when dark mode's on. So it does kind of give you the feel of having a little bit more screen than you actually have. And we're gonna go to display and brightness. Yeah, let's turn that up. Turn True Tone off. True Tone is, once again, lots of people have many thoughts on this. I don't like it. I think it makes things look weirdly warm all the time. It's supposed to adapt your white balance to the ambiance that you're in, the lighting that you're in. I never felt like it really worked properly, especially like if you have it on like an iMac or a Pro Display XDR, like I feel like you're messing with your color science. And that could like translate to like badly made media if you're a content creator. I don't get it. The screen it's pretty darn good. I think this screen peak brightness is like 625 nits. No, I think it's actually 1000 nits peak, 625 average. You can tell that this screen is a big improvement over especially the SE 2020, but the old iPhones as well. It does look really good. Now, here's the big thing. If you had a 120 hertz refresh phone or even a 90 hertz refresh rate phone, you're gonna notice a difference when you get one of these phones being only 60 hertz. I am noticing everything looks a little bit gross. And when I do my follow-up review, I'll do a slow motion video of this phone versus like the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra because it doesn't look smooth. It looks, ugh. I think the solution to this is just don't scroll quickly or at all, which is easier said than done. Obviously, when you're watching like a video on it or something like that, you're not gonna notice it, but you definitely notice it scrolling between apps. It's just, I wish it was higher refresh. 90 hertz would have been good enough. I get it, it's a battery thing. If they're gonna put 3G in this, if they're gonna put a nice bright display in this, they're gonna have to save battery somehow. Honestly, I would prefer to have a selection in the menu, and if I wanted more battery, go down to 60 when I need to, or just thrash my battery, at 90 or 120 hertz. I would rather have the option, something that a lot of people don't necessarily think of when they're looking at specs of a phone, but when they're actually using the phone, they will feel and they will notice. I feel like that's a really big thing that was omitted, and it doesn't make sense. But anyway, I can talk about this phone as much as I want, but the real test is gonna be, let's daily drive it, let's see how the battery does, let's take some pictures with the camera, I'll do a follow-up review and talk to you about my thoughts. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, first impressions, it's pretty neat. I love the size of it. That's the main takeaway. Great screen, great specs, and a phone this size, that's totally neat. I'm totally for it. So stay tuned for the follow-up review. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please go down there, hit subscribe, throw a like on there, make fun of me in the comments, whatever, it's all good. See you next time.